for coming out on a cold February afternoon. We wanted to take this opportunity to update the public on the efforts to save the Owen Block building, and I'm really tickled that we are in the position we are in. This is probably the most significant historic preservation save in our city since the early 70s when this facility was saved. So a very grateful thank you to so many people in our community who've helped raise awareness, who've raised funds. Jessica Ellis and her friends of the blockheads, if you will, that have raised all kinds of money to help save this. We've had tremendous community buy-in, and our good friends with Indiana Landmarks, we could not do this without them. As many of you know, this building was built in 1882 by Dr. Abraham Owen. In the 1950s, it was cut up into 16 apartments, fell into great disrepair over many, many decades, and the present owners and their attempt at renovation actually left more damages. And the building, as you see it, is in a very sad state. Indiana Landmarks obtained a purchase option agreement in March 2014, and for that we've been very grateful. They did an engineering study on the building which identified several hot spots that DMD and the Building Commission believed were public safety concerns. We have then since fenced off the property and sought a raise order with the understanding that Indiana Landmarks would attempt to raise the sufficient funding necessary to stabilize the building and begin the process to reclaim the living units with a local developer. Indiana Landmarks began a fundraising effort, and as many of you know, it has been very successful. On the 18th of February, the Executive Committee of Indiana Landmarks committed $110,000 to this effort, which meant they could go ahead and proceed with the acquisition of this property, leading to the announcement today that Indiana Landmarks will soon become the new owner of the Owen Block building and will begin the renovation process with local developer Mike Martin, who is here, and his company, Architectural Renovators. That will all happen in the very near future. This is very good news. Again, one of the most important historic preservation saves in our city since this building that we're in today was saved in the early 1970s. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Marsh to talk about Indiana Landmarks' great commitment to our city.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, good afternoon. I'm Marsh Davis, president of Indiana Landmarks, and I have to say this has been a most challenging project from the outset. We looked at this. We had engineers study it, and we were told, don't do it. It's too far gone. It's a lost cause. And there's nothing that gets a preservationist higher up than to hear those words, and that it was just like throwing gasoline on the fire. So we looked at it all the more, and thanks to so many people here in Evansville, and I can't begin to start listing the names because so many had a key, were pivotal points in our decision to take this project on. But clearly something had to be done, and we decided that this was just one of those properties that was too significant to lose. We initially set about the plans of, okay, we have to save this building, let's try to stabilize it. And we had some estimates, cost of stabilization, but since then we've got a better plan. And as the mayor said, Indiana Landmarks does plan to take title to the property as soon as possible, as early as next week, as late, we hope, as March the 9th or 10th. But we're moving as quickly as possible on this. And we've been looking at this over the course of years, and we've not found a better proposal than the one that we've decided to go with, and that is with Mr. Mike Martin, who is in the back of the room. Mike and his company have done great work. They're also doing the restoration of the Greyhound bus terminal for us, so we're very familiar. But as we've looked at this over the years, there's been a huge gap between what it will take to make this property come back to life and what is reality. So that is where we get the $440,000 number, which has been our chief fundraising goal. We have raised to date about $330,000, but I want to make it clear that we really need to keep raising funds. Our board is committed to this project, but they're also committed to raising the funds So if there's any message I'd like to convey tonight, other than the fact that we're all in this project, is that we are still actively seeking support from the Evansville community and beyond, because we've had significant contributions from beyond Evansville, but particularly here in town. But working with Mike Martin on this gives us comfort that this project will be put into service much sooner than if we'd gone through some more tedious but conventional ways of tackling historic properties, where you try to pull together every form of subsidy and grant and tax credit, and you spend months and months in going through the process. We don't have to do that in this case, which means that the building won't collapse while we're trying to find a solution for it.